Hey everyone, hi, my name is Mohammed Ali and today we are going to solve question number 901 of LeetCode online stock span using monotonic stack. So what this question is asking, this question is simply saying that let's say given an array, your job is to identify the span of a stock. And now what is span? Span simply means like looking backwards, you have to identify for how many days we have encountered a price of a particular stock that was equal or lesser than the current price. For example, in this case scenario, let's say if today's price is 70, so looking backwards we have to find out for how many consecutive days there was a lesser or equal price. So we can identify only once, because here there's 60, so we can identify like, okay, 60 is lesser than 70, so it means there was only once this condition like got true, that the stock price was lesser than the current one, because at 80 this condition becomes false. Okay, so what we will say, the span of current price is 2. 1 belongs to this current price and additional 1 will be added due to 60 watt. Okay, cool. Now we will further explore this question when we will understand it step by step, and then we will look forward, and then we will also look at the coding part as well. Okay, so okay, let's start this question. So this question will start from this point, and currently we have 100. Since we do not have anything before 100, so what we will do, we are simply going to come here and fill up our stack. So our stack was empty, so we will fill up our stack with 100 as the price. So this section is the pricing part and this one is the span. Okay, so 100 and span will be allocated 1. This is a default one. Okay, every price will have at least 1, and then further span will update according to the condition we will encounter, which we will see soon. So then what we are going to do, we are going to update our result. So this array will be our final result. This has the same size as this array, so let's write down 1 here. Cool. Now what we will do, we are going to move our current pointer. So now we have encountered 80, but now we will check whether our stack is empty or not. No, our stack is not empty because 100 is already there at the top of the stack. Then we will check another condition, whether the price that current pointer is pointing towards is greater than the price at top of the stack or not. If the current price is greater than the top of the stack price, then we will move forward, or else what we will do, we are simply going to come here, which is our case because current price is 80, which is lesser than the top of the stack. So what we will do, we will fill our stack 80 with 1. Okay, and then we are going to update our top. So top means the last value in our stack, so top of our stack will be now 80, and then we will update this resulting array and we will assign 1 at the 80s position. Okay, now what we will do, we will again move forward. So at this time we have encountered 60. Again we are going to check whether the stack is empty or not. No, the stack is not empty. First condition is true. Then we will move forward to the second condition, and the second condition is whether the current value is greater than the top of the stack or not. No, current value is 60 and at top we have 80. So what we are going to do, we will simply do what we did before. We will write 60 here, and then we are going to write 1 here, which is the default stack. Okay, 1. Cool. Now we are going to update our resulting array 1, and then we are going to move our current pointer to 70. Now we have a different case, because now stack and top will come here. Okay, top will come here. So now we have a different case. We have 70 and at top we have 60. So again, whether stack is empty or not, no, stack is not empty. First condition is true. Now jumping towards the second condition, the second condition says the current value must be greater than the current price, must be greater than the price at top of the stack. So yes, this condition is true here. So now what we are going to do, we are simply going to come here and we are going to remove this 60 and 1. This is basically a pair, so let's remove this 60, but remember this 1. Okay, so 60 had 1, so we are going to add this 1 to this current span. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So now what we will have, we will have 2, okay, as our current span. Now what we will do, we are going to move our top to this position. So here we have encountered 80. Now again we are going to check whether stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty, true. Then the second condition, whether the current value is greater than the value at top of the stack. No, now the condition is false. So what we will do, we are simply going to write down 70 here, the current price, and then we are going to assign 2, which is our current span. And then what we will do, we are going to write down 2 here, which is our result, and then we are simply going to move our top to this position. Cool. Now before moving our current pointer forward, I mean, you can do both ways, like you can move current pointer and you can then update current span, but just to make like intuitive and make it clear, I am updating it with 1, because remember, every time for every price, 1 will be the current span of our 1 will be the default value of our current span. Okay, so now we are going to move our current pointer to 60. Now 60, now again we will check whether stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty. Then we will check whether the current value is greater than the value at top of our stack. No, because at top of our stack we have 70, but the value at the value current pointer is pointing towards is 60, which is smaller. So what we will do, we are simply going to write down 60 here, and then we will assign 1, which was the default one, and then we will update our rest with 1, okay, at 60's position. And then what we are going to do, we are simply going to move top, and top will be pointed pointing to this 60. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are simply going to move this current pointer forward, and now current pointer is pointing towards 75. Okay, so now we will check whether stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty. Then we will check whether the current value is greater than the value at top of our stack. Yes, 75 is greater than 60. So what we are going to do, we are simply going to come here, we are going to remove this 60, and we are also going to remove this 1, but remember this 1, okay, because after removing this 1, we are simply going to add this 1 to this current span 1. Okay, so 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, now our top will move back to the 70, but again we will check whether stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty. Then we will check whether the value that current pointer is pointing towards is greater than the value at top of a stack. Yes, 75 is greater than 70. So now what we will do, we are going to use this 2, and we will add this 2 with this current spans 2. Okay, but first let's pop this out and this one, and then update this current span, and the new value will be 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, now our top will come to 80, but here the case will switch because 80 is greater than the 75. The current value, the value at the value that current pointer is pointing towards. So now what we will do, we are simply going to come here and update our rest with 4, and then what we will do, we will update our current span with 1, because this 1 will facilitate the new value. So current pointer will move towards 85. Okay, so this 1 is for 85. Okay, now we have encountered 85. Okay, so I just forgot one thing, to update 75. So 75 will be written here, and the value was 4. Sorry, I am a human as well. And top will be here. Okay, so now let's move our current pointer to 85. Now what we will do, we are again going to check whether stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty. Then we will check whether the value that current pointer is pointing towards is greater than the value at top of a stack. Yes, 85 is greater than 75. So now what we are going to do, we are going to pop this 75 from our stack and this 4, but remember this 4. So after popping 4, we are going to add this 4 to this 1. So 4 plus 1 will become 5. Okay, cool. Now top will come here to 80, but again we will check whether stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty. Then we will check whether the value that current pointer is pointing towards is greater than the value at top of our stack. Yes, 85 is greater than 80. So what we will do, we are going to pop this 80, but remember this one. Okay, so pop this one and add this one to this 5. So 5 plus 1 will become 6. Cool. Now what we will do, we are going to move our top to 1. Again we will check stack is empty or not. No, stack is not empty. Then we will check whether the value current pointer is pointing towards, that is 85, is greater than the value at top of a stack. No, 100 is greater. So what we will do, we are simply going to update our stack with 85 and the value will be 6, and we will update our rest with 6. Okay, then we will move top to 85, and then what we are going to do, we are going to update our current span with 1. So this 1 will be for this current value 73. Okay, so now we have encountered 73. So we will check whether the current value is greater than the value at 85. No, 73 is smaller than 85. So what we will do, we are simply going to update 73 with in our stack, and the value that will be assigned to stack will be 1 of this default one. Okay, and then we will move this top to here, and then we are simply going to write down 1 here. Okay, so now what we should have done, we should have moved further, but since our array ended here, so our loop will end here as well. So this will be our final resulting array. Okay, 111 21 461. Awesome. Now the coding part. So before switching towards the coding part, I would just like to give you this this alert that please don't panic. What we are going to see today is just a little bit different version of code, but the logic is same. Okay, of monotonic stack. Okay, so we will be using methods. So let's move towards LeetCode part. So here we are on LeetCode. This is the question number 901 of online stock span. The difficulty level is medium, and this is the question, and this was the example that we just saw with one additional value. Okay, now how to write this code. So first of all, just like before, but using classes and you can say modular programming. So now what we are going to do, we are so we are first going to initialize stack. So self.stack equals to this empty array. Okay, so the logic will remain same like the monotonic stack, and since we are using Python, so Python is super easy, so you can easily understand okay what is happening. Okay, now what this next function will do, next function will help us to move to next values. Okay, like 100, 80 and 6. Okay, so for example, stock spanner will be initialized, and then next will be called for 100, and then the 80, then 60. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to initialize span. So this is the current span. Okay, I am writing span, but consider this as the current span. So the default value will always remain 1 for each price. Now what we will do, we will initialize while. So while self dot stack and self dot after checking whether stack is empty or not. then what we are going to do, we are going to check whether price means the current value, okay, is greater than or equal to self dot stack and -1. So this will be the top of our stack, but since in our stack we are maintaining two values, okay, the pair, first one is the price and the second one is span, so we are going to check the price. Okay, so we are going to compare the price in our, let's say, this list and with the price in our stack. Then let's say both of the conditions are true, then what we'll do, we are simply going to use self dot stack dot pop. So we are going to pop the value and then the latest value, okay, the top value, and then what we are going to do, we are going to use span, and what we will do, we will update our span with that popped value. Remember that 1 plus 1 part, 1 plus 5 part, 1 plus 4 part, right? So this was happening. Now let's say if this condition is not true, so what we will do, we are simply going to append values to our stack. So self dot stack dot append, and then we are going to append this pair price, comma, and span. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to return span, because eventually we want to get the list of spans. Okay, so let's run this code. So yes, it got accepted, and you can see this is the output list, and here you can see 1112146. Since there is not 73 here, if the 73 is not present here, if there was 73, so it would have returned 1. Okay, cool. Now we are going to click on submit, and awesome, so all of the test cases got accepted. Cool. So this was a very brief solution with explanation of question number 901, online stock span, with medium difficulty, but I hope thanks to visualization and code it felt really easy for you. I look forward to meeting you with a new question and again another easy solution. So till then, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.